With over 25,000 subscribers to this channel, we obviously get asked a lot of questions about how to become a better MC. So in this short video, I'm going to answer 5 of those questions from subscribers just like you. Hi, it's Timothy Hyde from ExpertMC.com, the channel dedicated to helping you become a better MC, and if you wish to grow an MC business. Now, I picked these particular questions because I get asked them a lot, but also some of the answers and information I'll be sharing I haven't shared before. So if you've got a particular question about becoming a better MC, why don't you send me a message? I'll leave it in the comments section below. And if we get enough likes on this particular video, I'll make another one in a month or so. I'll also put some links to some other articles and videos that may be useful in answering these particular questions. So here we go. Let's get cracking. All right, my first question here is from Mark in the UK, and he asks, have I ever had to stop a speaker in the middle of their speech? Oh boy, yes, I have, many times. I've had speakers go way over time and I've had to get up on stage and cut them off. I've had speakers go into inappropriate content, a political rant that just had no place at that particular event. I've had speakers one particular speaker did his entire presentation and then moved into the audience and set up this elaborate interactive exercise that he just didn't have time for, so I had to cut that off. I also had a joint presentation. There were 4 speakers in 20 minutes and they were going to share that time. But the first speaker did 15. The second one did about 8 or 9 minutes and I just had to jump up and say, sorry, that's all you've got time for. It's hard to do, but sometimes you have to do it. It's your role at the event. Time is such an important thing because if one speaker goes over time, that time has to be paid for somewhere else. Either another speaker will have to go short, or the audience will have to go short. They'll have to trim their break time, their networking time. And if that happens, the sponsors or exhibitors, perhaps outside, are going to miss out on their time. Or the whole event will run long, and then the client may well have to pay extra money for staff, etc. So it's vital to keep things running on time. Here are a couple of pointers that you can use to help you. Firstly, have a discussion with your client before the event about how strict you have to be with the time. Does it apply to everybody? Do some VIPs, perhaps a politician or somebody like that gets extra time, or if you can be a bit more lenient? But if you have the discussion first, it will save a lot of embarrassment later on. Number 2, discuss with your presenter. A trick I learned a long time ago is to ask them, oh, and how long have they given you? Now, you know the answer. You know how long they've got in the schedule, but their answer is very revealing. If they say, oh, I've got 20 minutes and they've only got 10, or they say, oh, I'm in half an hour or so, you know immediately if you've got a problem. Also then ask, how are you going to keep track of that time? That will remind them to put their watch down or their phone with a timer running, or you explain how you are going to signal the time. Keep those time signals clear if you've got a card or whatever to hold up. And it's a great tip to get them to acknowledge that they've seen the 5 minutes to go, 10 minutes to go signal. Just a nod is enough. Another great little tip I picked up from my friend David Price is to positively reinforce the speakers who keep to time. So the first speaker, second speaker in a busy schedule, if they finish right on time, say, congratulations, you're going to get the MC award, or I hope all our presenters today will keep perfectly to time like you did. Thank them. And it's a subtle message that you're wanting to keep the event right on time. And lastly, be assertive. It's why you're there. It's why you've been asked to be there. So if time is strict, take a deep breath and just go up and do it. Don't be afraid. Remember, it's why you are there. Okay, next question. Dear Timothy, should I stay or should I go? By this I mean, after I introduce a speaker, should I leave the stage immediately or wait for them to come up to the lectern? That's a great question. What do you guys do? I think it depends a little bit on the circumstances. Now, if it's an act that you're introducing, a singer or a comedian, they're probably using their own handheld or headset or lapel mic, and they're probably not using the lectern. So in that particular case, I would go. So bang, they're straight into the spotlight when they walk onto the stage. Or if it's a big stage, you can do that classic, you kind of meet them halfway across or just as they pop out, give them a fist bump perhaps or a high five and let them get on with it. But if they're a speaker doing a presentation, perhaps from the lectern, it's a slightly different matter. In that case, I would normally kind of remain at the lectern, but take a couple of steps away. So you introduce them, move away slightly, they come on, take the lectern and start. By staying there at the lectern, you can adjust the microphone if you need to, point out any controllers on the lectern, and just make sure that they're comfortable before you leave. But if you do leave, I also don't go completely off the stage. I'll wait at the side of the stage until they're started and then quickly or quietly move off. But it means if there is a problem, you can quickly come back on and help them in that particular situation. So it's a bit of a fuzzy answer. It depends, but be flexible. There's no proper way to do it. Question number 3 comes from Joyce Daniels over in Nigeria in Africa. Joyce is a great MC and also an MC coach. And Joyce's question just came in a couple of days ago. Any tips on getting international MC assignments? It's a great question, Joyce, and thank you for sending it in. As a reminder, if you've got a question and you'd like me to try and tackle it in one of these videos, leave it in the comments below. Since the question came in, I thought back about all the international assignments I've had and how did I get them. And I've worked a lot in the US, South Africa, New Zealand, Cambodia, and Hong Kong, a lot of events there. Most of the events came via 2 different ways. Firstly, it was people who had used me before here in Australia and were traveling with a group to that particular place to have a conference overseas. And they thought it was safer to use me, who they got on with. I did a good job. And so they took me as the MC away with them for their conference. It's one of the beauties of being a corporate MC. You can establish a relationship with the client and repeat and repeat and repeat for many years. The other group or other bunch of assignments I got were multinational companies who have branches in different countries. So the Australian group had used me, and then the Hong Kong branch said, oh, we are doing a similar event. I've heard he's a great MC. We would like to repeat that. Or perhaps one of the big bosses were at the Australian event and said, why don't you use him? You can do much the same presentation. So that's happened in Hong Kong a lot, and also in New Zealand. So we did an event here, and then some of the team were from New Zealand, and they said, oh, we'll get him to do it. So I always stress to you, target clients in your marketing that can use you for multiple events or year after year, or have multiple branches. So if you get into one, you can then expand it into others. I think also a lot of it has to do with your own attitude. If you think of yourself as an MC in your city, you should start thinking of yourself as an MC in your state or in your entire country. Just start to think bigger, and the work will follow. Then you start thinking internationally. I once had dinner with a movie producer, Graham Burke from Village Roadshow. I was working on a cruise ship, and he invited me for dinner, and we had a big long chat. There was a couple of other people there at the dinner, and somebody asked me who didn't know me, said, oh, where do you work, Timothy? And I thought to myself, I think big, and I said, oh, I work all around Australia. And they go, oh, great. And later, Graham sort of leant over to me. When at an appropriate moment, he said, tell them you work all over the world. And I now do. So that's, it's just an attitude thing. If you start conquer your town, then conquer your city, and then conquer the country, and then conquer the world. All right, my next question number 4, is from Barry up in Canada. And Barry asks, Timothy, I had a funny one the other day. I spent quite a lot of time writing a great introduction, why it was important, and linking the topic to the audience, just like you teach. And then the speaker talked about something completely different. Even the title of the speech was different. Has this happened to you, and what can you do about it? Oh, I've had this happen a bit, and it is a bit annoying, but you should understand why it happens. Some speakers get booked a long time in advance, and perhaps a month in advance, or even with a big international conference, a year or two in advance to be a big keynote presenter. And during this time, things might change. Technology moves so fast these days that exciting new things might want to be talked about in the presentation. Things that he was going to talk about may be completely different. IP changes, things that were discussed before may not be allowed to be talked about. People change jobs. Your CEO, she might have moved into a different position. So understand that things do change. Now, your client should probably check this before the event, before the agenda gets printed, but sometimes these things also change at the last minute. One thing I often do is when I meet the speaker, I mention their topic title and say, blah, 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 that sounds interesting. It gives them a moment then to say, oh, well, I'm not going to talk about that much. And you can then do a quick little rewrite. If you don't get a chance to talk to the speaker, another thing you can do is look at their PowerPoint presentation. Usually the people on the AV team, audiovisual team, who are running the slides will have the copy. They'll be running it, and you'll be able to see at the desk, or when the speaker is setting up their presentation, just have a little peek and you'll see the title of the presentation. If it's the same, you should be okay. But if it's different, you can bring that topic up and then perhaps hopefully have time to maybe go into a more generic presentation or ask them about the new presentation. So it does happen, and you have to be ready for that. But great question. Hope that helps. So before I answer question number 5, if you've got any value out of this video, please click the like button. It encourages us to make more videos, and make sure you subscribe as well so you don't miss out on future videos. Hopefully I'll get a few more questions and we'll make another one of these fun videos in the next month or so. And I can also show you around a few more crazy things from my library room here. Library museum room. All right, the question I get asked quite a lot is, what's been added to the Expert MC Toolkit and Resource Manual? And what edition number are we up to? Well, we're up to edition number 3, and it says so on the cover, on the inside of the manual. So if you own one of the manuals, check it out in the next week or so. And if you don't have edition number 3, send me a note and I will make sure you get an updated copy, because we have 30 new pages in the manual. So edition 3 is the current one. And all you need to do is send me an email or a message and tell me your email address that you used to purchase it, and I can check it out. Yep, 30 new pages we've added. And I've rearranged also the whole structure of the book has been rearranged. I'm going to make a video about it because I've put it into I've got the tutorials and things at the front of the book, and then the resources at the back of the book now, which seems to be a much better way to lay it out. So we added 3 full tutorials, one on introductions, one on thanking speakers, and one on writing opening speeches. So we give full step-by-step instructions, we give example scripts, and much more than that. So check it out. If you don't own the manual, just visit our website and or the link above will take you straight to it. And if you do have it, check that you've got the latest edition. Thank you for watching this fun video. Hopefully we'll get to make another one in the next month or so. Otherwise, you can watch one of these videos coming up right now. See you later.